Yo. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, chat? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Go Ask Your Mama. I'm glad to see y'all in here. Boys and Ferrari, what's up? How y'all been doing, man? Y'all feeling all right today on this Monday, Tuesday? Ooh, I got my days all messed up. Oh, have mercy. What's going on with y'all, chat? Oh, I see y'all checking in. Yeah. Okay. Bear Star, what's going on? Aiden. I keep telling y'all, man, these names, boy, y'all got some interesting names, man. What's going on, man? I'm glad to see y'all. Glad to hear from y'all. How y'all feeling? Amazing. Okay. And the family's doing good, man. Everybody's doing good. The twins are starting to get into streaming more, man, in case y'all don't know already. So go check out their streaming channel. Getting into streaming too as well. We're about to kick off a 5-day stream somewhere around the end of this month. So check it out, man. You know, it's be some interesting things going on. Cornell Young Jr., what happening? What's up? Except for you, it's Wednesday. Where you coming from? Down Shocker 15. Wednesday. What's going on? Where you at? Where you at? Sonny, good to hear from you again. Good to hear from y'all. Yeah, so we jumped into streaming, about to get into streaming really whole lot. Be very interesting if any of y'all, if you haven't seen already or heard already, the stream with LaRon. Some interesting things came out of that. I got handcuffed. I'm not gonna tell you what happened. Gotta go check out the clips, check out the streams, man, to see what's going on. So at the end of the show, you'll see my IG, my TikTok, my Substack, because I do write as well. See all of those things, you know. So Cornell, see you chilling. Okay, she said South Africa. Okay, checking it from South Africa. Okay, it's a new going to the Braves game tomorrow. No, I'm not going to the Braves game. I'm not big on baseball, though. Do enjoy going to the games more than I actually see it on TV. Watching on TV is just boring, but going to the games is actually a little bit more exciting. So shout out to the Braves, man. Much success to them. Get right into it. Jump right into it. So last episode we talked about some of the lies that boys grow up believing. I don't know if y'all remember that. Some of the things like men don't cry, they don't show weakness, handle your problems yourself, toughen up. And then, you know, I started thinking, right? What happens to a boy who hears those messages his entire childhood? Happens. What do you think happens? Tell me. It's not that he stops having emotions, just he stops knowing what to do with them. That's very important to understand, right? Because at times when you think of men who don't really show a lot of emotions, you think that they don't have emotions, but they do. Just learn to suppress them. It's based off whatever environment they grew up in, right? Problem is, eventually, boy becomes a man. What might have been, you know, okay, well, it looked okay when it was a boy, right? Because they didn't really affect too much. But when boy becomes a man and now they have, you know, family, or they have jobs and they have other things, and now all of those emotions that they express become a real big issue. Tonight, I want to challenge the idea. I want to challenge an idea for y'all, right? We somehow convinced ourselves that being emotionally unaffected makes you emotionally strong. I believe that growing up. If it was consciously or not, I believe that. I don't think it does. Because, see, ignoring an emotion isn't the same thing as controlling it. I do understand that, right? Know that. Jervis the King, what's up? I'm finna kick, Dale, I'm finna kick you out the chat. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't do all that trolling, man. Wait, suppressing anger isn't controlling anger. Ignoring sadness isn't overcoming sadness. Pretending you're not hurt doesn't mean you weren't hurt. So maybe emotional strength isn't about feeling less. And it's about understanding what you're feeling, deciding what you're going to do with it. I think. What do y'all think in the chat? Tell me, what do you think? So before we go any further, I want everybody in the comments to answer this. Growing up, what emotion were you least comfortable showing? Steak eat you. Tell me one thing. Are you eating the steak or the steak? But y'all fake philosophers in the chat, man. Y'all wow. Yeah. We all are, man. All the males, man. Chris, I hear you. Any emotions? Okay. Any emotions. Well, in case y'all don't, let me point some ones out for you. What about anger? About sadness? Fear? Embarrassment? Loneliness? Love? If I'm being completely honest, me, it was all of those. It was all of those. It was anger, it was sadness, it was fear, it was embarrassment, loneliness, love. Still to this day, still deal with those. And what up? No, man, they somewhere. Actually, they about to get ready to go to this the streamer prom. I was gonna go, man, but it was last minute, man, and it's all the way out in I think Texas or something like that. All right, so let's talk a little bit real quick about what emotional intelligence is. Because I don't know if everybody is understanding of what emotional intelligence is. Because I know this is something that I've been learning more and more. Emotional intelligence, to put it simply, is walking around talking about your feelings all day. That's not what emotional intelligence is. It's basically being able to recognize these three things. Well, four things really. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? What am I going to do with it? Fourth thing is, what might the person in front of me feel? It's simple. Emotional intelligence. I simplify it for you. Now you have people that can go deep into it and they give you a spin on it, but I want to give you a simplified version of what emotional intelligence is. So if you're able to answer those four questions, situation, and you're able to raise your, I think it's EQ, emotional intelligence. I think it's EQ. You know how the intelligence IQ. I think it's EQ. So, what are you feeling right now? What are you feeling? What do you think? You feeling right now? Okay, I'll go first. Right now, I am feeling feeling hopeful. Feeling hopeful. Right? Feeling hopeful. Feeling hopeful, but there's also some fear there, right? Especially as men, when you know you have a lot on your shoulders, there's a fear that you're going to fail and you're going to be able to give people that's around you what they need, right? I'm feeling hopeful, also a little bit of fear. Am I feeling it? Well, I guess just explain it to you. You have so much pressure on you, or so much on your plate. It's high, right? Yeah, it could become a lot. What am I gonna do with it? What am I gonna do with it is I'm gonna channel it. I'm not gonna allow it to slow me down or stop me. I have my moments, but I'm not gonna allow it to slow me down or stop. Now, this specific situation, I can't say there's anybody necessarily in front of me that be feeling something. In my life, may be feeling some type of way too. They may have their own feelings about what's. Digress. Back to the chat. Your day was a little stressful, but I took a nag and got better. Yeah, man. You go to sleep. It seemed like that make everything better. Shoot. I slept in a little bit today, which I'm grateful that I was able to sleep. Very grateful that I was able to sleep in today. I don't know if y'all heard that, man. That's my brain app. Let me go ahead and turn this off real quick. Y'all got the Ring app? Anybody got the Ring app? Man, that thing be so annoying when you're like doing something, it just goes off. nowhere. Loud too. Don't even matter if you have it in do not disturb. Okay. Took a 10-hour nap today. All right. Must be nice. Must be nice. So let's talk about something. Let's talk about anger as an easy emotion. Now, a lot of men know how to say I'm pissed, right? I'm pissed off. You know, I'll fuck you up. You know, they know how to say all of that, right? Sometimes anger isn't the whole story. Matter of fact, a lot of people will consider the anger that people feel. Much of the anger that people feel is not the primary emotion, but is the secondary emotion. And I'm gonna explain a little bit why that's a secondary emotion. But so underneath that can be like rejection, embarrassment, disrespect, fear, jealousy, security, grief, disappointment. So, you know, a feeling of powerlessness, right? So let me give you an example real. Woman says something, or somebody says something that makes you feel rejected. How many of us are really saying that hurt me? Right? We don't say that hurt me, even though it did hurt me. We don't say that hurt me, right? We do. We get angry. We get upset. So now this person is responding to our anger instead of understanding hurt. I'll try to catch that real quick. Use the scenario again. Say your woman or because I'm talking to men right now, right? Let's say your woman says something where you feel rejected. You don't say that hurt me. Get angry. Now she responding to your anger instead of understanding your hurt. But begs the question, how many arguments are actually two people fighting about the emotion on top instead of talking about the emotion underneath? How many arguments? Now, I know it's interesting, right? I know it's interesting that I said it a few times, a fifth episode, and I said a few times that, you know, easiest emotion for us to express is anger, and that men often resort to anger when they express emotion, right? But ever talk to y'all and ask y'all why? Why is it that men resort to anger? Why is it an easy emotion? And I'm gonna give you a few reasons, right? I wrote some stuff down, right? But why anger? Because anger functions. Get my words right. Anger functions as a protective emotion, covering something more vulnerable. Got that? Creates power. So things like hurt and fear, shame, rejection, hopelessness, insecurity, they can make you feel exposed. And anger protects vulnerability. It gives you somewhere else to put pain. That's why anger. And when I think about anger, because there's been several times in my life that I've been upset, right, and pride myself on being a person who feel like I don't get angry, but oftentimes because we have that side of us that not willing to be vulnerable, willing to allow ourselves to be exposed, that when something happens to us or somebody does something that hurts us, we're not going to be like, hurt, you did. You know, you're in a relationship with these people, right? I'm not talking about some random stranger, right? You don't want to give your emotions to people who you know that's not going to care about them. And they'll just stomp all over it. I'm talking about your loved ones. Your loved ones. We should be able to say to our loved ones that we are hurt. We should be able to. Now, I know some of us may be in situations or relationships where a person may stomp all over your emotions, right? But I just want to encourage you to not put yourself in a position, because that's trauma. The times when we have opened up, we have told people about how we feel, and we have told them that we were hurt. Maybe when we was younger, maybe when we were older. And those people mishandled that. They disregarded it or they deflected. They didn't hear us. We create something within us, a defense mechanism. That is anger, or shut down, or different things of that nature. But we create a defense mechanism where we don't have to feel that, or even though we still feel it, right? So I just want to encourage you to still express yourself, to still express your hurt, right? Around your loved ones. And because at the end of the day, it's not really for them, it's for you too. You need to be able to express yourself. You need to be able to express how you feel instead of suppressing it. And I'm gonna go into a little bit later as to why the problem with suppressing emotions. What's the big issue about that, suppressing emotions, right? What's up? What's up? Yeah, what's my favorite boxer? I don't have one. Oh, but even if I did, I would go back to Tyson. I mean, I'm a little older, so I would go back to Tyson because oh man, Tyson was. Don't let that Jake Paul and Tyson fight fool you, man. Listen, man. Listen. It was a beast. Real. You said, oh, you seen that one with the security. Yours is Muhammad Ali. You know what? I need to go back and watch some of the fights of Muhammad Ali. I watched the movie. I've seen clips and stuff like that, but I never really watched him like the fighter. You know that they call him like, the greatest. But I need to go back and watch it. I mean, I didn't grow up in that time period, so I was never into boxing, which is about to change. Y'all. Sometime soon, I know me and Kamar, man, we're gonna be doing another boxing match. Ain't gonna go like it went last time though. Anyway, let's keep moving on, man. Let's let me ask y'all a question. When you're hurt, what do you normally do? When you're hurt, what do you normally do? I'm gonna give you some choices. A, get angry. B, shut down. C, leave. D, pretend you're okay. Or E, talk about it. I'm gonna repeat those again. When you're hurt, what do you normally do? A, get angry. B, shut down. C, leave. D, pretend you're okay. Or E, Sonny, you said D. You said you pretend you're okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it's valid. That's pretty normal. That's pretty normal. But for us men, we do that. Said I was a mixture. Just depends on what it is, right? E, not. You say you don't make it obvious. Yeah, E is one of those ones that I rarely use. That I'm working on using more. Like I told you before, man, this is a show where I'm not coming off like I'm an expert and I practice these things daily, but this is more of a journey. Not only just myself, but for all of us, right? So I'm angry depending on the way, shut down, leave, pretend I'm okay. I've done all those things, right? Depends on where I'm at. Mostly, that's just not good. So which gets me to the next point. Suppression, right? Suppression versus regulation. So suppression is shouldn't feel this. Suppression is I shouldn't feel this. That's what suppression is. I want y'all to get that. Suppression is I shouldn't feel this. Regulation is feel this. Now, what am I going to do? So, explain a little bit more. So, emotional regulation doesn't mean every feeling deserves an immediate reaction. Let me just verify that. Sometimes the emotionally intelligent thing is saying, angry right now, just give me 20 minutes before we continue this conversation. That's not running away. It's recognizing your state and choosing your response. Now, let me talk a little bit about suppression. Anytime, I really want y'all to hear this, right? Appreciate that. What is that? Tazins? Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I really want y'all to hear this about suppression of emotions. So anytime we suppress our emotions, we form mental barriers, right? Isolate you from your loved ones, and from life. Time you suppress, let me explain why. You suppress your emotions, you're shutting off a part of yourself is no longer available to anyone. It's not available to anybody else. How can a person get to know you? You are shutting off pieces of yourself that make who you are. So let's talk. Let me go a little bit deeper, and I'm gonna come full circle, right? So let's think about vulnerability, right? So many times we suppress our emotions because we don't want to be vulnerable in those moments. Problem is, access. Somebody having relationships with people, access requires vulnerability because access requires an opening. Let me give you an example. Just say a house, right? Person go on the porch. They can look through the windows, look around the house. They can see every side of the house, but they're not allowed to come into that house. Do you feel like that person knows that house? No, don't. They haven't been given access. So the thing about access is, I'm gonna say vulnerability. I'm gonna use these words changeably: access and vulnerability. Vulnerability is allowing yourself to be exposed and possibility of being affected. So if you open the front doors of your house to somebody, they have access to every room that you allow them to go in, right? Have access to here and go there. So, and it also allows them to affect home in some shape, form, or fashion. When you suppress your emotions, you create these mental barriers, emotional barriers, keep people from having that access. You can't truly have an intimate relationship with anybody if you not grant them access. And I know that's scary. But you cannot, for real relationship with anyone, not give them that access. Just say, the door's closed to the house, right? Can't get in. What kind of relationship are we having? Surface-based. Surface-based. Many of us men have surface-based relationships. Just men. I'm talking to men right now. It's not just men. Many people, we have surface-based relationships. So when we keep people out, not only do we keep out the bad things, but we also keep out the good things. Good things can come through. Admittedly, yeah, there's definitely big possibilities that bad things can come through. Absolutely there is. And I know there is a tendency to, once a couple bad things come through, you shut the doors and you just don't want to open up no more, right? Again, just keep the good things out. We're going to have constructive, intimate relationships with people. We got to open the doors. It means allowing yourself to be exposed. Scary, ain't it? Scary. Allowing yourself to be exposed. That is scary. But I'll say this too, because I mentioned life. If you don't give access, it's hard for you to have experience life the way that it should be experienced. Here's what it is. All right. So another issue that many people and men have is that we don't know what we feel, right? So when we're talking about our emotions and we're talking about how we feel, there's a certain vocabulary that comes with that, right? What happens is an emotional vocabulary. So what happens when no one ever teaches for emotional vocabulary? We might know good, bad, mad, fine, right? But let's just think about it. You might struggle distinguishing things between like disappointed, rejected, overwhelmed, shamed, inadequate, lonely, resentful, anxious, embarrassed. If you can't identify something, harder to manage it. Harder to manage. Can't communicate an emotion, can't identify it. Cannot communicate an emotion you cannot identify. There is an emotional vocabulary that comes with being able to express your emotions. Um, Seeing people who were unable to articulate their thoughts, right? Not even on an emotional level, just unable to articulate their thoughts, but because they were unable to do it, certain frustration that comes with that, right? I want people to understand you when you communicate. Well, we'll say this. This is what I've done. Just done this recently. Is you can do it through Google or Chat GPT or something like that, and you just go on there and you type in. What did I type in? I typed in the emotions. Like, give me a list of all the emotions, right? It broke it down like joy, and it broke down categories of joy, right? Because you may have joy, but there's different feelings of joy. Anger, to that nature. I would advise y'all, man, to check it out, so that you are having conversations and you are expressing yourself, you're able to accurately express what you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan, what's up? So I just want to encourage you all to do that, right? It's very important to be able to identify exactly what it is that you are feeling. Moving on from that, I know we don't have a long stream. We don't have a long stream, but these are things that I just want to like go at y'all for you guys to understand. Emotional intelligence doesn't mean emotional obedience. Emotional intelligence does not mean emotional obedience. Go on that for a second. I'm gonna let you know. So some people will hear this episode and they'll think that I'm saying just express everything you feel. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is every emotion deserves to be understood. Emotion deserves to be understood. Doesn't mean that every emotion deserves to be obeyed. All right, you're angry? Yeah, that's understandable. Doesn't give you permission to become destructive. Understand? You're jealous? Okay, get it. But that doesn't justify you controlling somebody. Okay? You're afraid? Okay, I get that too. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should run. See, feelings give us information. They don't always give us instruction. That's what I think that's what we miss sometimes. Feelings give us information. They don't always give us instructions. So you'll think as you're upset that you're supposed to just go stupid, just wild out and do some crazy stuff. But that's no. We got to get to the place where we stop listening to our emotions as giving us instructions, because it's not giving us information. There's a reason why you feel jealous in this moment. There's a reason why you're upset in this moment. There's a reason why you're afraid in this moment. Let's try to understand it. Chances are it's an irrational fear. Chances are anger is irrational. Chances are your jealousy is irrational, and that probably stems from something that you dealt with when you were younger, or maybe a little earlier on in your life, maybe even as an adult. So how I feel about that. Cat, what up? He talking about George Foreman right now. What was that prank with drug? What you talking about? The Herrera, what's up? Do I like trains? Tell y'all before me, your names is crazy, man. But I'm not gonna harp on that. All right, so emotional intelligence in relationships. I want to connect this back to our third episode, right? Don't understand my emotions. Eventually, somebody I love is going to have to deal with emotions that I don't understand. Catch that. If I don't understand my emotions, eventually somebody I love is going to have to deal with emotions that I don't understand. What does that mean? It means that if you're operating, give you an example, if you're operating from your secondary emotion, which is anger, and you're using it as a primary emotion, however, Somebody's going to have to deal with that because you haven't learned to understand your emotions. We get in these relationships with people and we have not first waged internal war within ourselves, won and waged the internal war within ourselves, which is the many traumas and things that we go through. And what ends up happening is that because we haven't waged that war within ourselves, it becomes an external war with our loved ones. When you get upset with each other, that's when you argue all the time, things like that, right? So eventually somebody has to deal with those emotions that you don't understand. So one of the things we got to learn how to do is we have to learn how to listen without immediately defending ourselves. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm working on myself. Listen without immediately defending myself. Saying hurt me. We talked about that, so I won't get back in there. But just saying, I'm being honest, saying that it hurt. Apologize. Recognizing defensiveness in yourself. Understanding your partner's or friends or whoever's perspective. Understanding their perspective because everyone has a valid perspective. That takes work, takes patience, takes waging that internal war that I spoke about a little earlier. We have to learn how to take a break without abandoning the conversation. That's very important. Taking a break without abandoning the conversation, because I think sometimes we have conversations with people, and because we haven't mastered the emotions that we feel around the topic, the trigger that we're feeling, we then run away from the conversation because it's too much for us, right? Often I realize that when you identify the trigger that's behind it, you can have a more productive or constructive conversation because you're able to say, hey, this is where I'm coming from. This is why I feel what I feel. Understand? That returning to repair after the conflict. I've learned that first of all, seldom that I really get upset at anybody that I don't really care about. Now, there's certain, I'm not saying you'll never get upset at people that you don't care about, but it's more so of an infraction of your maybe ego or traumas. People, right? People who are really close to you, but knack for making you upset a lot easier, right? You have to learn how to not look at these people like they're the enemy. Because a person hurt you, mean that they're the enemy. Truth be told, hurt they have more to do with you than it does with them. They just may be moving in the way they've always moved. Because there may be something you didn't reconcile within yourself. The way that they move now affects you in a negative way, and you're hurt. Their intentions and their mindset was nowhere near trying to hurt you. Got to get out this mindset of thinking that people are purposely trying to hurt us. People just move in a certain way, and they don't even, if you don't open your mouth, they don't know what you're doing is affecting them. That what they're doing is affecting you. Don't know. Well, I say you have to be able to give them access to that vulnerability. Otherwise, you just keep suppressing and they keep doing this thing, and now you resent them, and now you got problems with them for something they didn't even know. Oh, they're not supposed to know. But you tell them. You're supposed to guess. You have to communicate these things. This is all a part of emotional intelligence. But how can somebody know you emotionally if you don't know yourself emotionally? How can someone know you emotionally if you don't know yourself emotionally? That's why I said you have to wage that internal war yourself. First, wage and win that internal war within yourself. Doesn't mean that you're going to be flawless or perfect or anything like that. That's not what it means. But we talk about emotional intelligence a lot, and we treat it like it's just some abstract thing. It's something that is attainable. We just begin to understand what we're feeling, why we're feeling it, what we're going to do with it, how the next person may be feeling it at that moment. Things that in order to do this, it requires us to pause, to take a second to just relax, just think about it, just to really ponder on how we feel. It's okay to take a few seconds, or just if you need a little longer than that, say, hey, I need a few minutes to think about how I feel about this. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So I want everybody to understand that and just be encouraged, man. Like, nothing wrong with that. So something that bothered you this week. Okay? About something that bothered you this week. I'm gonna give y'all some homework. About something bothered you this week. What happened? What did you feel? How did it affect you that way? What response would represent the person that you want to be? Give you those 4 questions again. About something that bothered you this week. I want you to ask these 4 questions. What happened? What did you feel? Why did it affect you that way? What response would represent the person that you want to be? Emotional intelligence in practice. It is. Jesus Garcia, what's up? What's going on? Go back to the chat real quick. As fair as you, man. You came in late. That's why you don't know. Yeah, exactly. Sonny, yeah, you wouldn't. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm reading the chat. Then a bite. I'm reading chat. Nothing. Man, I already shouted you out, man. Exactly. Emotions. There you go. IS 2488. What's up? So, it's my final thought, right? Don't think strength means becoming unaffected by life. Okay? It's going to affect you or going to hurt you. You're going to experience rejection. You're going to experience fear, loss, embarrassment, disappointment, love, joy, all of it. The goal is becoming a man who doesn't feel. The goal is becoming a man who understands what he feels without allowing every feeling to control what you do. But what I said, emotions are just information, man. Not supposed to be instruction. So, final thought I want to leave you with is emotional strength isn't feeling less. It's not. Understanding what you feel and choosing what to do with it. So the question of the night, and I'm gone. For the night, what's one emotion you had to learn how to handle better as you've gotten older? What's one emotion? What's one emotion? What's one emotion? Shout me out, Pops. Great motivation. What's up, W Games? So in case y'all want to know, man, tonight wasn't about making men more emotional. You know, it was about becoming more emotionally intelligent, and that's what I want to talk about: becoming more emotionally intelligent. Because there is a difference, right? So, this conversation made you think. Share it with somebody. Subscribe and come back next week. Next week we are going to talk about something that affects almost everything we're discussing, and it's discipline. So, until next time, keep asking the hard questions. And remember, just because nobody taught you doesn't mean you can't learn. All right? See y'all next week. Till then, man, y'all stay up, stay blessed. Y'all thing, man. Tap in with all the channels, man. Get ready for the live streams. Later.